History Talks, the Jazz Cypher Project, conversation about the Black American cultural heritage of jazz. We hope this project will serve to preserve this important music form and nurture a new vanguard generation of jazz musicians, enthusiasts, and supporters to help carry this cultural legacy forward.
Welcome to the Black History Talks, the Jazz Cypher Project, how to listen to jazz jam session. In the session today, we are going to be talking about three different features of jazz and listening to jazz music. We're going to focus on that. And I am your co-host, Antoinette Jones. My co-host is next to me, Lafayette Harris Jr., and we have some young musicians here who are going to play in the latter section, and I'll introduce them then. So there are different features that you can listen to. We're just introducing three today. And we'll be using the song, the Jazz Standard. The Jazz Standard is part of the repertoire that jazz musicians have, songs that they memorize that are just generally played, that are well known. The song and tune that we have chosen for today is Stomping at the Savoy. It was written by Edgar Sampson, and he was a New Yorker. Woohoo to New Yorkers. He was a child prodigy who started playing violin was an accomplished violinist at the age of 6. He wrote Stomping at the Savoy. It was played by the Chick Webb orchestra back in the 1930s when jazz and Harlem and jazz was really hot. Difficult time for America, but there were a lot of things that came out of that time. We're looking at three features: format, tension and resolution, patterns and repetition. And I'll turn it over to Lafayette Harris to help us better understand how to listen to jazz and how to listen to those features. Lafayette?
All right, thank you so much, Antoinette Jones. And yes, I'm going to use as a vehicle today this wonderful tune. Louis Armstrong performed it, Ella Fitzgerald performed it. Anyway, the three sections, the three ideas that we're thinking about today are one, head. In other words, the form that I'm going to play and that you usually hear, you'll hear the head. That's the main theme that the guys wrote, or they, declared that this is my melody. And then improvisation in the middle, and then head again at the end. That's the typical jazz format. Okay, so that's one thing you're going to listen for. Second thing is tension and release. So it's going back and forth between heightening and relaxing, creating a wave of excitement, hopefully. The third thing is, and Antoinette's going to help me with that.
The third thing is patterns and repetition. We're listening for patterns in the music and phrases and melodies that are repeated throughout a tune.
That's right, that's right. And that usually happens everywhere, but try to see where you might see it happening in both the theme, that's the main, head solo, the head, and then when I solo, see if you can find any of these elements, and again, at the last head. So I'm going to play 3 choruses. Okay. Intro.
Thank you. Wow.
Okay. So, any place that you saw comments, comments, repetition, patterns, tension, release? Anyone?
I guess, yeah.
Anyone of you fellas? I would like to,
I
if you
see.
can't unmute.
Yeah, they're unmuting. Yep, I see it. Hold on a sec.
So just so you know, the form is AABA. So so you know that you're going to get some repetition there, and then the bridge is different, and then the last 8 bars is a repeat of the A section. You want to say something, Martha?
Yeah, I guess we'll just start with the head. The tune is kind of just really like one phrase, at least in the A section. The tune is just one phrase really repeated a couple times with like a little bit of difference. And then the bridge changes completely. And so I guess that's an example of the repetition. And then I guess tension release, the bridge is kind of like, since it's a little bit different than the rest of the head, just a bit of tension there. And also during the solos, you used a lot of kind of repeated phrases, and you also put the stride in the bass, in the left hand, which is also an example of, I guess, repetition, I guess, in the rhythm in that case. And yeah, again, you used a lot of kind of almost lines, jazz lines that are kind of familiar and that kind of almost kind of call and response to each other. So yeah.
Okay, very good, very good.
I have a question before we have another comment. For those of us who are new to this, I heard A, B, but the format was head solo. So what is A, B? What is meant by that, A, B, in the A section?
All right, so I don't know if I'm wrong. I don't know if I misheard the song, but it sounded to me like it was 32 bars. And if it was, then it's A, B, A, in which, like, the melody, which is the positive part, the low tension part, I guess, is repeated twice. And then it goes into the bridge, which is different, and that's the tension part. And then it comes out to the melody again.
So by a bar, you mean, what do you mean by a bar? 32 bars. What's one bar?
A bar is a measure, I guess. Yeah.
Okay. So if I count 4, that's 1 bar?
Yeah, I mean, depending on the key signature.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not key signature. What is it?
Time
signature.
Time signature. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Now, Marshall mentioned something, stride. Can you help me out with stride? What is stride? Marshall, what did you mean by stride?
So stride is basically when the left hand, the piano has decides to play, I guess, a note on each I guess beat in the measure, and they play a bass note on 1 and 3 if it's four beats, 1 and 3, and then play a chord on 2 and 4. So it kind of goes back and forth, and it keeps a steady rhythm throughout the piece or the solo.
That's good.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Excellent.
Okay.
So, do we have any other? Well, we do have a couple of other songs. Are there any other comments, Lafayette Harris, that you would like to share with us here about the format, head, solo, head?
I think if we could probably answer that with the next pieces that we're going to play.
Okay, cool. Well, the next piece is shorter. Well, not shorter. It's a slightly different sounding piece. It's Summertime. And it is it comes from the musical Porgy and Bess that was written by George Gershwin and Dubose Heyward. Actually, Summertime is considered an aria, and Porgy and Bess is considered an opera. It's an opera that was written by Heyward, who's from South Carolina. It was written in 1935. Well, actually written in 1934. The song was composed in 1934. Heyward wrote this play beforehand, and then it was produced on Broadway in 1935. Heyward was a white American man whose life fell in hardship, but he used in his writings, he was a writer in his older age, but in his younger days, he dropped out of college to support his mother after his father died. And he was befriended by the African-American community and spent a lot of time with them and wound up using African-American music and themes in his plays. He helped to further the expression of Black folk art as an acceptable form on the African-American stage and in art in the US. The song Summertime comes from Porgy and Bess. And yeah, we're going to hear a little bit of that now. So, Lafayette, okay. Why don't you help us?
The idea of this, since we're social distancing, so getting together and jamming is more difficult these days. So what you're going to hear now is just a raw jam. Julian and Marshall both listened to the tracks that I made in on the software here on the computer, GarageBand, and then they played and put their parts to it. And so all I did was just drop it in. I edited it a little bit, so that each one, you can hear each one of them have a solo. And we're gonna listen, I guess, about half of what's been done. Okay, so here it goes. Summertime, George Gershwin, Dubose Heyward, but there's no vocals today.
Do you want to share your screen? Maybe that might help.
Oh yeah, that'll help a whole lot. One, two, ready, go. All right. Yes. Everybody got a little, so both the piano player and the bass player got to stretch out on that one.
That was really nice, yeah.
Thank you, Julian.
Yes, Julian and Nigel on bass.
That's right, Nigel on bass. I wish Nigel was here. Where is he?
Yeah, he is. He just sent a note. He's not able to make it.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
Well, good job, Nigel.
Yeah.
And good job, Julian. Can you still hear us out there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
can you help us with tension and release and resolution and repetition? I mean, I think I heard repetition is, I can hear in patterns, but can you help us with the resolution? Did we resolve more than once? Or is there only one time that there is resolution?
Julian?
Oh, in my playing in particular? All right, well, I do have repetitive comping. That's just because, like, rhythm-wise, and that's, I just do that when I don't know a piece well, to be honest. Because, like, I've heard Summertime, but I haven't, like, deeply listened to it. So, that being said, that's the only reason, really. But there are just, I feel like there's certain things that sound good with those chord changes, improvisation-wise. And so I have certain certain notes I like to use. For instance, there's the the E flat 16.
E flat 16?
Yeah.
16?
No, the E7 flat 16th. That's what it is, right? Is that what it said? No, it said 13th. My bad.
Okay.
Flat 13th. Yeah.
Okay.
E7 flat 13th. I like to use the 13th in that as well. Also the what's it called? The major 7th.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But as a passing tone, yeah.
Passing tone. On the way to somewhere else, right?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
kind of like, is the transition from one place to another?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because personally, if you use the major 7 in a blues over a dominant chord, some people could pull it off, but I personally can't. It just sounds, you have to have a purpose for it. It just sounds like a mistake most times.
Mm-hmm.
So, but it sounds nice, like on the way.
On the way. Okay.
Like you were going from the tonic down and then back up.
So I have a question. We talked about format and AABA for Stomping at the Savoy. Is there a format that you can give me in the form of letters for Summertime?
Let me think right quick. Yeah, all right. I think it's ABAC.
ABAC. Okay, so there's one melody A, a melody B, and a melody C. Okay.
Not really. It's more like it's the same melody twice, except they each end differently. And so the A is the first half of the melody, the B is the second half of the beginning melody, and then the C is the conclusion.
Okay.
Well, I let me jump in here on as far as that form on Summertime. Let's just count them. Summertime, 2, 3, 4, 2, and the living is 3, 4. Fish are jumping, 6, hopping and high.
Sorry, this message.
Your daddy's rich, and your mom's good looking. That's 12. Oh, hush, little baby, don't you cry. 16. Yeah, so that's basically the form. It's 16 bars, and sort of like it's not really a sophisticated form like most jazz tunes, the AABA. It's just a little bit longer than the blues. Really, blues is 12 bars, and this one is 16 bars. A lot of church music is that shape, either 8 bars or 16 bars. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, thank you. So we have another song, right?
We do have another song, but Julian didn't he didn't send me anything for that. So maybe we should save that one for next time. What do you think?
We can save that one. Yeah.
Or we can just hear a little bit of it. How about that?
Yeah, why don't we do that? Can I ask you, why don't we do a little bit of that? We're going to introduce the key that it's in, and the key is key. But Summertime, can you tell us what key that song was in, that tune?
I'll tell you, it was A minor.
A minor. Okay. So the tune that we're going to hear next is C Jam Blues, and it's called that because it's played in the key of C. C Jam Blues was written by Duke Ellington in 1942. It's another jazz standard, and it is also known as Duke's Place. It features 2 notes, C and G, not necessarily in that order, I've learned. It's easy to play. The form is 12 bars blues? Yeah, 12 bar blues, right. C Jam Blues, yeah. So Duke Ellington, well-known band leader and composer and jazz orchestra leader and pianist. So if you would play that one for us, C Jam Blues. what can you tell us about the special features of this tune?
Okay.
Or we can ask the guys, what did you guys hear as far as head, solo, head, tension and release, and patterns and repetition?
Can Marshall come in?
Sure.
Yeah, okay, so repetition is, I guess, easy for this one because it really is the same phrase repeated each measure. Yeah, it's repeated 3 times in a row, and then it takes a break, and then that kind of group of 4 bars is repeated 3 times. So in the solos, I guess, on a blues, people like to use a lot of repetitive vocabulary when they're soloing, to try and get like that kind of bluesy feel to it. Yeah, I guess.
Great, thank you. Julian, if you have anything to add, please feel free.
All right. I'm actually in the middle of a room check right now that I have no control over the time of. So,
okay. I hope it goes well.
All right, thank you. But
All
I was
right.
listening to the recording the best I could.
Okay.
Awesome. Yeah. So why don't you give us your final comments, Lafayette Harris, on C-Jam Blues and what we should be listening for as we listen to this song, this tune?
Well, definitely, this kind of song is really about having fun. And Duke proved that you didn't have to have a lot of notes or sophistication to create a fun song. And this is C-Jam Blues is one of his most famous songs, and one of the most famous songs in the jazz repertoire, and everybody can play it, so that's one of the great things. As long as you don't start on C, the first note is G. Remember that, okay? And then you're in there. And other than that, it's just a reminder that you're supposed to have fun when you play this music.
Thank you. Well, we're supposed to have fun when we listen to it too.
That's for
So
sure.
I hope that we can move forward in understanding a little bit more as we try to listen for the head, the solo, how many solos are there, and you could have a number of different solos. It depends on the group, the group playing, the instruments playing, and the leader. And then head at the end, and listen for tension and release, where it builds up and then where it resolves. I guess you can feel that with your heart. You can feel that in yourself. But it's good to try to listen out for it as well. And then also listen for patterns that are repeated. And we hope this will help you to develop an ear as you listen to jazz, but not only jazz, other forms of music as well. Thanks for joining us today. We really appreciate you stopping by. We look forward to seeing you on the next session of Black History Talks, the Jazz Cypher Project, and we hope we can have another jam. Lafayette?
It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you, Antoinette. Thank you, Marshall. Thank you, Julian.
Thank you, Marshall. Thank you, Julian.
Thank you.
All right, take care. See you next time. Bye now.
Bye-bye.
Bye.